Now we can proceed with the ALM lifecycle. So let's proceed to the VS Code. Then in the terminal, make sure you are in the right folder. So currently I'm in my project folder. So you have to track back yourself into your project folder, and then you need to check the Git version install, because sometimes we don't install the Git version. So we will first check the Git version. So currently we have Git installed successfully. Now we initiate with the Git init. It is initialized. So now we need to check the Git status. Currently we don't have any commit, but you see we have Git ignore as well as VS Code, a function paid, and post.json requirement file. So you see, we don't have payload or any sensitive information in a file. This is a git ignore file. You see, currently all of our files are untracked, and this is our git ignore file in which we have explicitly said don't include the test payload, anything that causes the testing accidental deployment. And this is a Python function that we use to create a function app and then deploy the Python v2 function. So let's proceed back towards our environment. Before we can proceed with export of our solution package, we need to understand some of the basic export rules. Otherwise, if we don't follow them, a solution break in between, also it will expose a key point. We need to do, we just need to secure on all of our inputs as well as our outputs in our get secret, as well as pass JSON any HTTP request in which we think it may expose our API keys, flow history, any header on a get secret. Then in the setting, then we need to toggle on the secure input as well as secure out. You see this lock sign appear there. Same we did for the pass JSON, secure input on, as well as then we need to secure on a sanitized contract as well, secure on and secure on. And you see when we toggle on, the secure mode lock appears there. Same for the HTTP query reg, as well as same for a custom connect, because it may accidentally expose a history as well as the API key. Although we don't have any API keys in the header or in the payload, but just for the sake of security, we are toggle oning the secure mode to add an extra layer of security. Then we can securely export our package and then import into a production environment, demo environment, and then we test it, and then we can proceed accordingly. Then this one did as well. We need to on it, secure inputs on. That's it. So you see, we have successfully secure on all the secure options. We just need to test it in a quick run to check whether everything is working fine, and then we proceed with other steps. I just perform a quick test, and you see everything is up to the mark and everything is running fine. And you see our flow ran successfully and everything is working properly. So you just have to note down the one difference. Since secure options are on, so you don't see any content there. Content not shown due to security configuration. Same in the input as well as in the output. Same in the pass station, you don't able to see any inputs and outputs because we have on the security configuration. Same in the HTTP request as well as same in the Azure AI search reg. We are unable to see any inputs or outputs. Same in custom connect. Let's proceed back towards a solution. Click solution. Click environmental variable. Click edit. Here I want to explain you a very important factor. Currently, we only have a default value because I have already removed a current value. So make sure when before deploying a solution, you need to remove all of your current values, including all of your variables. Currently, I only created two variables, Azure as such as well as Azure function app. So I already remove all of my current values, because if we don't remove our current value, the point is when we export our solution, it will be pointing towards the last environmental use current value, and it's pointing towards the last environment instead of the environment it is currently exist. And also when we export a solution, it gives us option to the tag our value. Currently we are only dealing with the default value. Of course, when we are dealing with the template selling or template creating options, we don't put our default values there because we are just selling the template. We are not selling the software versions as well. So we will put some dummy data there to execute our export. But in our case, because we need to run the smoke test after the export, so I'm moving with the default value. And also, by the time you watch this video, I have already cleaned up all of the resources before even the video upload to my channel. So make sure you have to remove all of the current values, not the default values. Otherwise, the flow will not work properly. So let's proceed with the next step. Now move back to home. In the flow, publish all the customization. It will take a bit to publish. Okay, so all of our customizations are published successfully. So we are now ready to export our solution package. So we click export. In the export, we have multiple options. Either we can start a deployment by a proper pipeline of ALM, Power Automate, Power Platform pipelines that provide us option to quickly deploy a solution. But currently, we are not following that process because for that we need to have in the background a dedicated managed environment, and that currently for the current setup we don't have. But in the some next upcoming video, I will make a complete video on that. So also we have manual export option. So if I click there, so we do export our solution. But currently I'm not using that option to export my solution because I have already prepared a PowerShell script which start a deployment in the deployment folder. From the creation of our exported zip to export to our environment and writing down all of my connection references as well as filling the connection references in the environment, and it will automate from the start to the end. Let's start with the PowerShell option. So we need to click a PowerShell terminal. Our terminal is open. So make sure you have in the correct directory. So we need to proceed in the correct directory. Before we can proceed with the PowerShell script, I want to show the complete file in the VS Code. This is the complete deploy script that I have created from the start to the beginning, and now I have opened this file in the VS Code to show you how exactly it works. It includes all of the variables, environmental names, and everything, targeted environment, and how it configures. Don't worry about the script. I will provide this as well with all of the other resources. Let's proceed with the PowerShell. Make sure you are in the right folder. We just need to command it to that we comes into the right folder. So now we are in a deployment folder. In our deployment folder, we need to run the deploy command. We just need to run deploy, and when we enter, it will deploy all of our deployment from the start to the beginning. Like it will create our export. It will first create a exported zip solution from current Mila Sultan environment, and then after creating that, it will create all of the connection references as well as fill all of the connection references, and then at the end it will import the solution in the demo environment, which is the targeted environment. Click enter. It starts initializing workspace diagnostic check. So selecting targeting authorization profile demo environment. So it is now currently connecting to a account. It is now connecting to a demo environment. Now it starts exporting clean managed solution package AI help desk agent enterprise manage it. So this is the file it is currently creating. Now it is start exporting our solution, starting solution export. So you see it is currently exporting a solution. Our solution exported successfully. Now it is scanning a zip and creating the deployment setting template, and now it is connecting to our account. This one. You see it has successfully mapped all of our connection references. Success, everything is auto mapped successfully, all of our connection references. So currently it is connecting a demo environment, which is our targeted environment, and currently it is importing our solution into the demo environment. So it will take a bit to export our solution in the demo environment. So it may take some time to export it properly. So in this way, you can automate everything. Like you can create a whole script and choose it to automate everything accordingly. It's say an unexpected error occur. ALM deployment pipeline completed with zero warning. Our overall process is completed successfully, but at the end, our deployment will be not happens accordingly. Since everything is working fine and our loss action of exporting our solution to our targeted environment is failed, so we need to run a deployment command that will override this and deploy solution explicitly. I will run this command that will deploy a package explicitly to override the last command. Once again, it is connected a main account and then a environment, and hopefully it will import this time. I have to clarify one thing, that it would be rather pretty difficult to predict about the PowerShell or CID/CD pipelines because we don't know when the error happens. They are very unpredictable. So it is once again not exported, but we want to export that. So let's proceed with another way. That is our manual way. So currently we need to proceed towards our deployment. So this is the deployment in which we see this is our deployed folder and this is our deployment set. This is our deployment JSON file. These are all of the connection references that our solution created successfully. And you see this is a deployed imported zip folder that a solution created. So what we need to do, we need to proceed towards a demo environment. We need to toggle that into our targeted environment, demo environment. And then what we need to do in our solutions, we will manually export it because import failed at the last step. So we will manually imported. Normally it will work, but currently it is not working. So we will have a trick for that because of course we can use this import browser file. Then we choose a dedicated file, AI help desk agent enterprise manage solution, and then we open it and then we click next, and then it is showing the version of it. There is no patch and port. And then you see all of the connection references. It is updating all of the 8 connection references that we had created in a last developer environment, and currently it is updating these in a production environment. So we need to proceed with next. And these are the environmental variables that I had already talked to you. These are the default values. Normally, if we want to change those values, we can do, but in current scenario, because we have to use the exact same value, so we can proceed with that because it is not overriding that value, and we have the option to change it there in the imported option, so we can proceed with the next step. And then we see this notification, currently importing solution AI help desk agent enterprise. It may take some time to import. So you see a solution is imported successfully. AI help desk agent enterprise imported successfully with warning. So this is the Microsoft default warning with the solution import just for the security point of view. So we have to see our solution is imported successfully. And you see it is also showing that AI help desk agent enterprise imported successfully. And you also see the solution package. It is a managed package. So let's proceed with the flow. And you also see there are important warning there. You cannot directly edit the object with a managed solution. So you have to understand that all of the connection references are imported successfully, but we can't edit any of them. For example, if I click this connection reference, these are 9 connection references. If we explicitly go to their tab and I want to edit it, you see edit as well as the remove portion is grayed down. So we just run it because it is imported as a managed solution. So we don't able to change anything there because all of the connection references imported successfully. They are auto mapped successfully. We can now directly test the flow because our script auto mapped successfully. But we once again cross check them before we turn on our flow. Go to environment, click back, and then in our connection references, we see these are some of the connections that we just created. And in the custom connectors, we see this is a custom connector there that is recently imported with the solution because we had created a custom connector in a past environment. If we see in the connections, we don't have any connection for the custom connector. So we need to create a new connection there. Click new and search there Azure function. So you see this is a connector. We need to write the API key there. We need to copy the API key from our deployed model. Then we need to paste it there. The connection references is created successfully. But here is a very important trick. Even though the connection references is created successfully and the UI say all of the connection references created successfully, but we are unable to use our flow or turn on our flow. So what's the logic behind it? Because you see currently our flow is off. So when we turn it on, then we can run it, perform a test on that. It will throw us an error. If I try to run it on, why it throw us an error? You see, connection ID missing for connection reference is logical. What is this arrow? It is basically pointing towards the last endpoint that we have created. Currently, even though the new connectors are new connection references are created, so this is the one of the biggest blogger when we dealing with the solution export. So, for example, when we export any solution from developer to production environment, all of the connection references we need to map into the deployment settings are JSON file. Even though the solution is imported into the next environment and you can create those connection references manually, but the solution itself is pointing towards the last created endpoint. So we need to resolve it. So in the production environment, what we do, Microsoft allow us to separately create everything manually, and we have created the references accordingly, and then we use those references in our environment. So what currently we do to resolve this issue? So we just need to update our Azure connection references manually. This reference is pointing back, so we just need to change this QUCD ID, and then it will work fine. How we do that? Of course, we will use a PowerShell command line. Proceed with that. As we all know, we just have created a new connection references for Azure function app. So we need to extract that QSED ID from there. We need to run that command, get admin power apps connection. So this is the targeted environment unique code. In other words, you have to say QSED ID. This is the connector name, and in this way we can get the value. So we need to click enter. In a bit, it will provide us a value. Of course, as we see Azure function connector, this is the recently created connector, and this is the connected status. So we need to extract that value, copy it, paste it in a connector, then save it. It won't work magically there, so we once again need to deploy it by using a PowerShell command, and then we are able to use a flow according. So we need to overwrite our last command once again. We provide the exact targeted environment ID as well as managed AI help desk agent enterprise zip setting file, as well as we need to provide the deployment settings as .json active plugins force override, and then it will override with the new connector, and then we can able to once again import the solution, and then hopefully our solution will work fine. So we need to click enter. So it is now once again connecting to our account, and it is importing our solution, and hopefully this time it will be imported successfully. And once it imported our solution, we can use it or turn on it, and of course we will smoke test, and then we will test it accordingly. See, we have a lot of difficulties, a lot of errors during the deployment process, and this is quite normal. Even though we face a lot more errors when we are dealing with the production grade, even though you are an experienced person, these errors are just the normality, as I already told you. Even though they are quite difficult to replicate on camera. So I will try my best to proceed with zero errors. But of course, these are the part of learning. So everybody learns with that. So hopefully this time solution will be imported successfully, and we are able to use a solution accordingly. It will take a bit to import, of course. You see now solution imported successfully, and all of our connection references resolved. So proceed back towards our production environment, which is our demo environment, and we need to turn on our flow and try to run it and see either the error is gone or we still persist with that error. This is our last error, so we need to refresh our UI interface a bit. Now our UI is refreshed. We need to turn it on. So you see it. The solution is turn it on successfully. It doesn't throw any error. So it means it's resolved. Right? So we need to edit it. You can see this disclaimer. This flow cannot be updated because the managed property of this solution component don't allow customization. So we are unable to change anything there. We just able to run it, and you see how beautifully everything is come with the secure input as well as the secure output, as we have deployed it in a developer environment, and it is exported pretty well in a production environment as well. So everything is pretty clean and exported in a way that we want. So we just need to run it. We just need to test it manually, and then click test and see. This is a smoke testing. If everything is worked, we are good to proceed. Our file is successfully uploaded, and hopefully our flow will work successfully, and our pipeline will work accordingly as intended, as we are expecting it to work. So you see our flow ran successfully, and we have received everything perfectly fine, and our smoke test is successful and a case to run successfully, and we have received this beautiful update a row as well as post in a channel and send us a email. So we need to check our channel. So you see this is the recent new notification that I have received. This is a new one, and this is hot topic, and this is everything as we already tested multiple times. And this is our email that we recently received. Post it is hot stock, and I will not go to any of the detail there because I already told you pretty much there how the values are compiling and where it's coming from. Also, a Power Apps records updated successfully. So that's it with one of the biggest project multi-tenant AI document contract system. So it is one of the biggest and longest and difficult projects that we did. So we have completed it with complete success and everything is completed perfectly. If you have any questions, have any ambiguities, you can ask me in the comment section. You can directly email me as well. And if you want the automations like that, also you have to let me know. For your information, I will provide each and every resource, including the V2 Python function as well as the PowerShell script, as well as all of the HTML code and this flow pipeline formulas in the description with the Google Drive link, the zipped folder, so you can get everything at one place. Thanks for watching. We will meet in the next video.